Hi, my name is Alexis Rhodes. Today I will be discussing the slave trade, talking through the beginning, why it is important, and what part it plays in today's time. Taking you all the way back to the beginning, the Atlantic slave trade begins around 1650 and ends around 1860. The European colonization was in desperate need of new laborers. According to the article The Atlantic Slave Trade, paid laborers were just too expensive. Slaves were obviously the cheaper way to go. So they turned their head to Africa, forcibly importing slaves to the New World. Fray Thomas de Mercado. Fray Thomas was a Spanish cleric. A cleric was known for being a religious leader or a priest. I'm discussing him today because according to his article, A Critique of the Slave Trade, he argued that the slave trade was a product of deception, robbery, and violence. He talked over how people were treated poorly and sold, how they made war on one another by selling their own kids as a last resort, or even captured by their own people just to sell them. There were people who tricked and carried off free Africans to sell them for their own profit. The importance of the slave trade. The slave trade was a very important time in our history. There were even benefits that came from the slave trade, although it did not benefit the slaves in any way. In the article, The Slave Trade Significance, it explains that slaves produced the major consumer goods such as cotton, sugar, and tobacco. It played a part in the earliest manufacture systems of credit and trade, and even played a huge part in the settlement of the New World. Slavery today. Today, right now, at this moment, there are still different types of slavery. Labor slavery, where you're forced in industries where manual labor is needed, such as farming and ranching. Sex, trapped in forced prostitution. Marriage, trapped in forced marriages. And people use kids as slaves all the time. Slavery has always been around for thousands of years. It has just become a hidden crime.